Welcome to the show.
It's Deidre. Hello, it is Deidre, and today we are going to try something new yet again. You guys remember when I made that short about the person who saw their coworker cheating on their wife with their coworkers? You remember that? If you don't remember it, here's what my advice was. You will likely no longer have this friend. Is that okay with you? If that's okay with you, then I would say, expose him. That's right. I said, if you do not mind losing that friend, it probably wouldn't hurt to expose his cheating ways to his wife so that she may protect herself. Well, today we are going to go on an adventure. We are going to dive deep into the full story from the perspective of someone who actually did that. Someone who was prepared to lose their friend for the sake of exposing them for cheating. Now, this was posted on r/BestOfRedditorUpdates. So you can be sure that there will be updates at the end of this story. In fact, we will learn what happened in this scenario from start to finish. I don't think I've done this before. So come with me on this journey as we discover what happens when someone is willing to expose their friend for cheating. So this post was originally made on September 25th, 2024. I'm about to ruin my best friend's life, and I don't feel remorse. My soon-to-be ex-best friend and I have been friends since middle school. We know everything about each other. Our families are basically one big family now. You get the idea. Like I said, we tell each other everything. Recently, she came to me telling me she's been having an affair for about 4 months now with her superior at her new job. She started about a year ago. She told me, not out of guilt, but to brag about the dream vacation she's going on with her affair partner. That's what AP means. Disguised as a work trip. Sounds familiar. We had a professional seminar abroad with colleagues. One of them, also my friend. She asked me to cover for her if her husband asks if we've been in contact because she's planning on going black for that week. So he would have no way of finding out. Side note, we've both known her husband since high school. They are high school lovers, so they've been together for almost 15 years. Her husband is one of the most honest, hardworking, genuine people I know. He, of course, took everything she said about working late and the business trip at face value because he trusts her more than he trusts himself. I told her I would not be covering for her and to get out of my house because I couldn't even look at her right now. Later, I told my husband everything that happened, and he was just as shocked and disgusted. Her husband is basically his best friend now, so he of course has a lot of loyalty to him as well. My husband pointed out something I didn't even think of. Our security camera. It caught everything. We plan on going to her husband tonight with the proof. It will be up to him to do what he wishes with it, but he deserves to know. Secondly, we are taking this to her job. As far as I know, fraternization of any kind is prohibited at her workplace. She was also promoted once by the same supervisor, so this could have been seen as favoritism. Our guess is that they will both be fired. Finally, I'm going to send a snippet of her admitting to the affair to all of her family, including mine. Dang! As I said, our families are very intertwined, so I will easily be able to contact the majority of her family. This is getting a little bit extreme, even for me. I'm not going to give her a chance to spin this against me or her husband. I can see that. Some may think this is harsh, but I wholeheartedly disagree with what she's doing. Edit to add. I decided to take the advice of some of the commenters and leave it up to her soon-to-be ex-husband to decide to go nuclear or not. As some of you pointed out, he may decide to stay with her, and going nuclear would ruin his life in return. True. The other reason is going nuclear and making her lose her job could affect the outcome of the divorce. Yeah. We still plan to tell him, but we have decided against the other two options for now. I'm going to let soon-to-be ex know if she tries to pin this on either of us or tells anyone a single lie. I will do a 180 and go nuclear. I will not be seen as a villain for a situation I didn't even ask to be in the first place. She was the one who thought it would be smart to tell her monogamous friend with traditional values that she's cheating on her spouse. She can lie in her bed. Small update. Everyone involved. Alyssa equals best friend. Noah BFF's husband. Alyssa's husband? I decided to take the advice of a few people and reach out to Alyssa before I went to her husband. I recorded the conversation and let her know it was for my safety. She seemed still extremely nonchalant about the whole thing. I told her I was worried for her, and even for her, this was very out of character behavior. Long story short, she felt very weak and unbalanced in her and Noah's marriage. For context, Noah went to a trade school and makes very good money, while up until her promotion, Alyssa was making slightly more than minimum wage. She has recently been reading up on some anti-traditional values, and the woman in those forums attacked her for making less than her husband. She then explained that she noticed her supervisor was trying to flirt with her, and her internet friends told her to run with it and use him to get higher up. She, of course, did. That sounds like an excuse to me. She, of course, did, but admitted she'd become emotionally attached to him as well. All in all, she admitted she doesn't really regret the affair because it helped her with her career, and she found love. I told her she had the option to tell Noah the truth before me, but hubby and I were coming over tonight with the video of her admitting the affair, so she wouldn't be able to sway it in her favor. Again, she very nonchalantly said, okay, and hung up on me. IDK, what the heck is going on? I can't tell if she's having some sort of psychosis, or she's literally so detached from her marriage that she doesn't care what happens. Hubby and I are still planning to go to Noah tonight, but I'm honestly intrigued to see what she says to him, if she says anything at all. Okay, so that's the story. Now we're going to read some of the comments that were left on that post. Some of the commenters expressed concern as far as OP being taken to court for exposing in this manner, which I guess is possible in some situations, I don't know. But OP says, I'm pretty sure we'll be fine legally if we do ever end up sharing it. We've decided against it for now. She knew we had cameras in our house. We have a very obvious Ring doorbell as well as outdoor cameras. The indoor ones are obvious as well. Plus, where we live, you have the right to record on your property without consent, so there would be no ability to retaliate against us. And the comments regarding OP telling her husband and then going nuclear, like how she said she was gonna share all of this with family and her work and stuff, OP responds to this concern with, which she updated and said that she would hold back as long as Alyssa didn't try to flip it. OP says, the only reason I'm against it for now is because of some insightful comments. He's a very good man and he might forgive her and decide to reconcile. Even though I don't agree with it, it's his decision and I don't want to in turn ruin his life by letting everyone know he stayed with a cheater. Yeah. Someone also said affecting her job could affect the outcome of a possible divorce, and I wouldn't want anything to play against him. Thank you. This is why Reddit is useful. Very critical thinking. They got her thinking in the right direction. They don't want to hurt their friend, for sure. As fun and interesting as it would be to go completely nuclear and, blow this woman out of the water, it's probably better not to do so in such a way that will hurt the innocent person even more than they already are hurting from being cheated on and lied to. OP closes with, I completely agree and hubby and I decided against going nuclear because at the end of the day, soon-to-be ex will be the only one who gets hurt, which is Noah. It will solely be his decision unless he tries to spread rumors or lies about me, my husband, or his soon-to-be ex, which is Alyssa. I plan to tell him if she decides to try and spin this, as we said before. I will send a clip of the video to anyone she tells and let it spread from there. A wise commenter responds with, agree. Also, OP, please be prepared for her husband to stay with his wife and cut you and your husband off. Marriages are complicated and sometimes things don't play out the way you imagine they will. You should tell him 100%, but what he does with that information is up to him. And please remember that this is not just blowing up your ex-friend's life. It's blowing up her husband's life too. It's his call whether he wants to go nuclear or not, as we said before. And OP responded with, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if he decided to stay with her. He's a very forgiving man and may be willing to give it a shot. As tough as it will be, we do see ourselves going to North Carolina with both of them unless North Carolina. As tough as it will be, we do see ourselves going no contact with both of them unless a divorce were to take place. Because as much as we'd love to continue being friends and support husband, if ex-friend is part of the deal, we can't support that. I think they're referring to Alyssa as ex-friend. And yeah, just like we had discussed in that short, like you have to be ready to no longer have a friendship with the person or people you are exposing. And that's because, yes, if he does decide to stay, I think it will hinder the healing and transcending process that they would be going on if they chose to stick together, to have OP and her husband and their families, possibly their families, I guess if their families do find out about it, they'll probably have to cut the whole thing off for the sake of preserving their privacy going forward and their ability to build. And as I said, this is not the end of the story. These Reddit posts have updates. So, update. There was an update posted September 27th, 2024, which was 2 days later. OP says, I apologize for not having time last night. We were obviously busy. People involved, ex-best friend, Alyssa. Oh, it sounds like they're calling her ex already, so something went down. Bestie's husband, Alyssa's husband, Noah. I took a lot of people's advice and decided not to go nuclear. As many people said, at the end of the day, it's not my circus. The decision should be left up to the wronged party, and that is Noah. I also decided to reach out to Alyssa before telling Noah, and decided to give her a chance to confess to Noah herself. That was generous. You didn't have to do that, but that was generous. I agree with that. She has an opportunity to kinda redeem herself by telling the truth a little bit. They gave that to her. That was a gift. I hope she took advantage of that. Let's find out. After I talked to her, I was legit thinking about reaching out to her parents about medical help because she was so unbothered and so non-remorseful about the affair that I thought she was having some sort of mental break or psychosis. Yeah, Alyssa's always been the kind to find loopholes or ways ahead, but cheating on your spouse of almost 2 decades for financial gain? It's not normal. If you didn't see my small update, the whole reason Alyssa started the affair was to get the promotion at work. It evolved into an emotional affair eventually, though. She admitted that her new friends from some feminism forums on Facebook groups told her she wasn't as valuable if she was making significantly less than her spouse. If this is about value, why do you think you'd be valuable if you're cheating on your husband? It's like solving a problem with a problem. Something I learned she's been more insecure about than she's been telling people. They also told her that using a man isn't cheating, as long as there's no emotional attachment. She's just being a girl boss. She admitted she couldn't separate her feelings from the intimate aspect and started going on regular dates, vacations, and eventually they started calling each other boyfriend and girlfriend. The AP affair partner knows she's married, but was told they were on the verge of separation. Oh, they are now, that's for sure. My hubby and I arrived at Noah and Alyssa's with some booze and some dinner. And by the time we were there, Noah had already gone through a bottle of wine. Surprisingly, Alyssa did confess to Noah about the affair. Wow. He told no, I bet she lied. Guaranteed she bent the truth. Let's read. He told us it was extremely non-apologetic, though. She sat him down and told him that she wasn't going on a business trip this week. She was going on a vacation with her boyfriend. Noah, being the clueless and loyal person he is, thought she meant to say husband and was so excited. Oh, that's so sad. He asked if they are going to Italy, like they planned for, and Alyssa just stared at him. She repeated, with my boyfriend. It took a few minutes, but it finally sunk in. He told us it wasn't pretty after that, and said he embarrassingly got on his knees and begged her to fix everything. The fact that he immediately responds by begging to fix it makes me wonder what actually was going down in their relationship. It doesn't seem like they really touched on that in detail. But he is apologetic suddenly, so either heavily codependent or he understands why his wife was venturing out into the world to taste other flavors of ice cream. Let's continue. She yelled for a bit, but then just stonewalled him again. She was already packed to leave and just left him there sobbing. She turned off her location, which both Noah and I were part of her family on the app, and we have no idea where she went. We assume she went to her affair partner's house, because if she had gone home with 2 suitcases, her mother would have reached out to Noah immediately. She sees him as a son. We sat down with Noah and said we had video and audio proof of Alyssa exposing and explaining the affair, and we will send them to him in case he needs them. I explained to him that in a moment of blind rage, I was planning on going scorched earth and telling everyone. But once I calmed down and looked at this rationally, which means once I posted it on Reddit and a bunch of people who were able to think outside the situation gave me some advice, but whatever, I realized that wasn't the right thing to do. The only person going full nuclear would hurt was him because Alyssa obviously doesn't care anymore. I suspected the idea of reconciliation is still on his mind, but he doesn't see it happening. In order to reconcile, both parties must admit fault and want to reconcile. Alyssa clearly doesn't. We've gotten him in contact with a friend of my husband who agreed to help him pro bono until the divorce shows results. So this friend that's gonna help him is a lawyer, it sounds like. I can tell he's still hesitant about going forward with divorce, but he knows he also can't force Alyssa to stay. As comments have suggested, this is where we bow out. We are obviously going to continue to support Noah, but it's not our situation to handle. It's his. If there's any future updates, I'll of course ask Noah first, but you'll be the second to know. Thanks for being so supportive and helpful. It made me realize that how Noah handles his life and his marriage is his responsibility, not mine. Edit to add. Wanted to clear up some questions from the last post that I didn't really answer in the update. Here's the first question. What did Alyssa ever do to you that made you want to go so nuclear? And Opie responds, honestly, nothing in particular. Like I said, for the past few years, our friendship has been for convenience at its best. We've basically been friends because we know each other so well, and we have at least one friend. We have at least one friend? I don't understand that. Alyssa has always had qualities I don't agree with, but who doesn't? I think it was just the whole situation that made my blood boil, especially since Alyssa has always been disgusted by cheaters. She was the kind of person to cut dozens of people out of her life if it meant not supporting someone's infidelity. So for her to make a complete 180 and not even have guilt for it, it just grinds my gears. That's part of the reason I think she's having some sort of mental breakdown. Not only is it hypocritical, it's extremely out of character even for her. Yeah. That fact that OP just outlined makes me wonder even more what was actually going on in Alyssa's life. There's so much that OP doesn't know. And I'm not saying that cheating is justified, I'm just saying there's a possibility that there was a lot going on that led Alyssa to go against her values that we don't know about. Who knows? It's not an excuse though. Another question, are you in love with Noah? And OP says, of course not. Singing someone's praises and trying to portray that they're a genuine and good person doesn't automatically mean you want to sleep with them. Our relationship has been nothing more than platonic for the entire time I've known him. Because he loved Alyssa and I loved their happiness. I love my husband and literally only ever saw Noah like a brother. Logic, people. For real. A second commenter said, you handled this incredibly well, and even though it's a painful situation for all involved, your thoughtful approach will likely help Noah through this difficult time. If there are future updates, I'm sure everyone following this story will be eager to hear how things unfold. Wishing the best for Noah and for you and your husband as you continue to support him. That's nice. And OP responds with, thank you. Like I said, I made this post and the decision to go nuclear in a fit of blind rage. But I soon realized I was being irrational. It's not my place to serve Alyssa vigilante justice. In all honesty, if she's not careful, she may out herself at work. And it's their decision what to do with the two of them. And there was further discussion from Reddit users on OP notifying Alyssa's workplace. OP responds to that concern with, I'm not going to. If Noah decides to reconcile, she'll be out of a job, which just adds to the problem that caused the affair in the first place. If she gets fired during the divorce, it could be grounds for alimony she doesn't deserve. And regarding the concern for where Alyssa was getting that crazy advice about making less than her husband, OP responds to that by saying it wasn't a national or creditable group. It was called Independent Women of Insert State. And it's a bunch of women who give advice and other stuff tailored to the laws and jobs in our state. The advice she got was from a group of women she met in that group who had their own personal group chat. She called them her friends. But I guarantee none of them are going to help her pick up her life now that it's ruined. LOL. Update. There was an update to this story on October 5th, 2024, and that is 8 days later. Well, I didn't expect to be back so soon, but the last week has been basically a speed run of terrible events. This will probably be my last update, so feel free to consider this the conclusion of the events. Here we go, guys. Everything bad that could have happened, happened. The past 2 days specifically have been absolutely horrible. Sorry if this is all over the place. I'm still all over the place. So, IDK if it was the day she left or the day after. But Alyssa and her affair partner went on their vacation. The only reason I know is because she posted pictures all over social media of her and her affair partner. She had absolutely no shame. It was very clear that even if she wasn't divorced, this was her new boyfriend, which of course notified her family of the issues. Noah's phone was blowing up with apologies, accusations, everything you can think of. Noah, being the people pleaser he is, decided to tell her family they were on a mutual break. Bro! Instead of telling everybody she cheated, and that was the affair partner. That's so sad. Part of me wonders if he was trying to preserve his own pride, like not to be embarrassed. Not trying to be a people pleaser, but like avoiding the embarrassment of everyone finding out that she did this to him, maybe. But I wasn't there, so I don't know. Alyssa's mom, fortunately, didn't believe him. She know her. And came to me. I didn't hold back. I told her that she's been cheating on Noah for months, and that she recently bragged to me about her sugar daddy affair partner, and that's the only reason she's come clean to Noah. Alyssa's mom then dropped a bomb on me that even I didn't know. Alyssa is a serial cheater. Her mom said in high school, Alyssa would bring boys home under the guise of school projects or sports-related things, but she caught Alyssa kissing 2 different boys. She was with Noah. Yeah, they were high school sweethearts. Yeah, keep in mind she was dating Noah all this time. She said she didn't think much of it and just chalked it up to being a crazy hormonal teenager. She also said she never expected her to marry her high school boyfriend. And by the time they were married, she figured Alyssa had stopped doing all this stuff. Neither her nor I have any idea if she's done anything like that since high school, through to the present, but I'm not interested in digging further into it. So just like we said earlier, that story of the people online pushing her to cheat and leading her, that was BS. My heart said that was BS. This is a person that wanted to cheat. She had those feelings. She did not just develop those feelings for her boss. She had a desire before that. She blamed Facebook to make it a little bit easier, I think. This just explains why Alyssa was so nonchalant about cheating, because apparently she has just always done it. I'm guessing her girl boss friends awoke something inside her. No, it was never sleeping. I'm sure she's been doing this. And she remembered how easily and nonchalantly she would cheat, and it inspired her to just do it again? I don't know. No, she was inspired already. She was inspired from the get-go since she was a teenager. She was inspired to explore various ice cream flavors, despite having some perfectly good ice cream at home. I'll be honest, I kind of yelled at her mother, something I'm not proud of. Huh? Why? Like I've said in previous posts, Alyssa's mom is basically my mom, so formalities and everything aren't something I think about when I talk to her. So, I freaked out and told her she set Noah up for this kind of life, when he could have found somebody 10 times better. She took it like a champ and just let me vent until I was calm again. Thanks, Mom. I apologized for yelling, but calmly said you and I both know Noah deserved better. He did! It doesn't matter who knows that he deserves better. Did he know he deserved better? Because I'm assuming he had to have some idea over the years that something was going on. I don't know. I guess they didn't say that, but fact of the matter is he stated that he would stay and try to fix it if she was willing, so that says a lot. I don't think he knows that he deserves better. So to blame it on Alyssa's mom is a bit out there. Because Noah would, even if they had told him at that time, he probably would have tried to stay. You should have said something before he got married to her. This is OP talking to Alyssa's mom. Alyssa's mom agreed, but said it's too late now to focus on that, and that the real issue at this time was supporting Noah. I told her if she wanted to support Noah, she could have told him his fiancé was a cheater 10 years ago. Don't blame Alyssa's mom. Come on. I don't agree with that. And hung up on her. I've since talked to her. We're fine, but I was just mad at her in the moment. It's not her fault. Her daughter's a hoe. And also, let's be real, Noah would have stayed. Noah would not be making the right choice anyway. Let's continue. Next thing that happened was that the photos got back to a colleague, and both of them were out a job before their vacation was even over. That had to be so awkward. As I assumed, their workplace was extremely upset and did consider Alyssa getting the promotion favoritism, and they were both let go. Noah told me there was at least 3 hour complaints about them. What? Hour? Oh! Noah told me there was at least 3 HR complaints about them. So it was a no-brainer, of course. The beautiful relationship Alyssa and her affair partner had turned sour. As soon as he learned he was let go from his 6-figure job because of her, he was so pissed. He even canceled Alyssa's plane ticket home out of spite and planned to leave her stranded there. Girl, this is who you left your husband for? You should have seen that. I have a theory, and this is not everybody in positions of power, but I don't think people get into positions of power in the workplace by being nice. That's just my lens. That's the lens that I see through. So I'm very cautious when I deal with people in higher positions. I know it doesn't come by being nice. It comes from understanding how things work and not being afraid to be a dick sometimes. And some of them, unfortunately, like to be dicks, like this guy. He handles the issue that he helped create, my stomach is growling, by being a dick to Alyssa. Let's continue reading. This is where all of you will be disappointed. And so am I. But Noah immediately forgave her, bought her a ticket, and moved her back in. She told him it was just a huge mistake, and seeing how her affair partner treated her made her realize what she could have lost. It's obviously all BS to me and hubby, but you already know Noah ate that shit up. He's told us that he's urging her to go to couples counseling. But of course, it's not an ultimatum, so basically she just got to have her cake and eat it with no consequences. Well, she did lose her job, but... We told Noah previously and reminded him that if he decided to take Alyssa back, we'd be going at the very least low contact. We kept our word and have completely blocked Alyssa, and have Noah unblocked, but don't plan to engage in small talk or in invitations to stuff. We refuse to be like him. I see that. And just act like this never happened, because that's not normal. He understood, but told us he has to stand by the vows he made to his wife. Even though she's not standing by them, okay? Which we both understand to an extent and wished him well. The vows have already been broken. There are no vows. But whatever. So yep, Alyssa got to sleep with another man, go on a nice vacation, lose her job, and still gets a bed and a husband to come home to. All's well that ends well. IDK how to feel about this. Like, if they want to live their fucked up broken marriage life, that's their choice. I'm not even mad anymore, just drained. I'm almost glad it's over now, because I don't know if I could deal with this for months on end. I knew this was going to happen eventually. It's just who Noah is. But it feels just as idiotic as it sounds. I don't know, I'm just rambling at this point. I'm glad we decided to step back, because honestly, both of them have very clear psychological issues that need to be addressed by a professional. But neither of them will ever do that. Well, he did say couples counseling, but I don't think couples counseling is effective when you don't have individual counseling as well. In a lot of cases, not all, just some. This one would be one of that some. I'd rather be rid of people like this. Sorry if I'm being blunt or mean, but at the end of the day, both of them have issues I didn't sign up to deal with. I don't need this kind of stress while husband and I are trying for kids. So yeah, I guess this is it. Yup. And here are some of the comments from that update. The first commenter says, I feel for Noah. He will always be a sucker for her and she'll always get away with anything. No consequences for anything. MC, marriage counseling is not an ultimatum. Sigh, unbelievable. Maybe one day he'll catch her with a guy in their own bed and he'll snap out of it. No, I don't think he will. I don't think he would snap out of that. He's already come this far. What's one more slap in the face? You did the right thing the way you handled it and distanced yourself right now. Don't turn your back on Noah though. He's going to need people. He does, but I mean, you can't help someone who can't help themselves. It's not their job. It would stress them out. Like she said, they're trying to have kids now. And I'm sure they'd love to support Noah, but it's very hard to support someone who wants to keep making mistakes without stressing yourself out on their behalf. Another commenter said, I feel no sympathy for Noah. He needs to find his balls from wherever she hid them because she will cheat on him again and again, and he will always stupidly take her back. You're completely justified staying away from that mess. Yes. Yeah, I'm sure he knows. If he didn't know about the high school cheating, I'm sure he knows by now. Clearly, she's as her mom put it, a serial cheater. This commenter's prophecy has already come true. She will cheat on him again and again, and he will always stupidly take her back. Yeah, it's the reality now. Update! We weren't expecting an update because she said that would be the last update. Let's see. This update was posted November 2nd, 2024, and that was almost 1 month later from the last update. OP says, it's been about a month since I last posted. I wasn't planning on updating, yeah? But the most hilarious thing happened with Alyssa and Noah. I needed to tell something. Bear with me, this is all through the grapevine because husband and I are still no contact with them. So first off, Noah has rewarded Alyssa's cheating with another vacation. They are planning on going to Italy for their vow renewal. Their plan is to basically start over their marriage, even though they've been together for 15 years. Not gonna lie, I burst out laughing when I was told this. Well, I mean, if they're making progress in their relationship, you never know. I don't know. Whatever. Not gonna lie. Oh, I already read that part. I just think it's so hilarious that they're both gonna sweep this under the rug and try to act like their life didn't implode. But hey, if it makes them happy, who am I to stop them? The second thing is that they've decided to try for a baby. One thing Alyssa and I always bonded over was being conservatives who wanted to be child-free. Oh, OP was trying for a child too. That's what she said earlier. I guess people change after all. Neither of us felt like we would be good mothers. Of course, since we live in a largely conservative community with conservative families, we were always basically bullied into changing our mind. But we had each other. That's the important part. Once I met my husband, that does change things. I had kind of changed my mind about kids, which we are also currently trying for. But Alyssa never swayed. The last conversation we had about our family pressuring her into kids was about 2 months ago, a week or two before the cheating incident. Oh my God. Not only do I think this is a terrible, which cheating incident? Really? Her whole relationship has been a cheating incident. Not only do I think this is a terrible idea because the baby's going to grow up in a dysfunctional family, I agree Alyssa won't love this child. I honestly just feel pity for everyone involved now. Yeah, a child is not a band-aid. I think they should work on solving this problem. Noah's being a bit foolish. If he thinks that putting a baby band-aid on this situation is going to make his wife a better person, he has another thing coming. It's only been a month, Noah. If 1 month of not cheating is enough to solve the problem, this problem is not solved. So, OP had said, I honestly just feel pity for everyone involved. For Noah, for thinking his life has to be staying with a cheater, and Alyssa for basically forcing herself to live a life she doesn't want to live, and their future child for being born into this clusterfuck. But yeah, consider this the official end. Maybe I'll be back in a year or two when it turns out Noah has been raising another man's baby. That would be such a plot twist. A plot twist that's not actually a plot twist. Yeah, I think there's a lot of opportunity in this situation for Noah to explore his own intentions and his perspective on this issue. It sounds like maybe he has low self-esteem. OP describes him as being a hard worker and very loyal. And of course, we already stated it seems like he doesn't realize that he deserves better. Those are qualities that are very hard to find in 2025. I'm sure there's a lot of really good women out there who would treat him with respect and also return that loyalty that he gives to them. But he has chosen Alyssa for whatever reason. All in all, I think OP made the right choice. I think they navigated it in a healthy way. They were able to, notify their friend and protect him. They put the power in his hands to decide what he wanted to do with the situation, and he made his choice. And I also commend her and her husband, OP and her husband, for being willing to put some distance between themselves and their friends here, because I think if they tried to stay in contact, they would only add to the issue. I would hope that Noah and Alyssa are actually turning over a new leaf, and that Alyssa has learned a lesson, and, they do go on to have a healthy situation. But if she's not going to therapy to tackle the reasons why she decides to cheat, it sounds like she's been doing that since she was a child to the same man. She's clearly taking him for granted. If she's not confronting those issues within herself, perhaps it's insecurity that leads her to make those choices and the need for outside validation. I kind of think that he's setting himself up for exactly what OP describes here, which is Noah ending up raising another man's baby. So, what do you think about this? It's if you were OP, what would you have done in this situation? Would you have gone nuclear? Or do you think she handled it? Her and her husband handled it in a healthy way. Let me know. I hope you enjoyed this type of Reddit exploration with me. It was a lot of fun. I don't know, maybe we'll do it again. Let me know what you think. And of course, if you like what you're seeing, go ahead and hit subscribe. There's going to be plenty more. I like to read Reddit. I like to explore these topics, and I like to talk about stuff like relationships. So if that's what you're into, this is the place to be. Join me.
Yeah!